Hey everybody, looks like we're going live today on YouTube, and hopefully we're going to get good signal today. If you're out there, it says I have an excellent connection here, so it looks like we should be good to go. I want to thank Stephen Motto, or Matto, I'll go Motto, Stephen Motto, for this video. I'm streaming it live today. I'm going to try this. I've tried this a couple times. Seems to generally work out okay. And what that does is it helps generate some traffic over to Steven's site, so hopefully that works out today. Hey, if you were at FDIC yesterday and you took my class, thanks for coming. I had a full room, and I really enjoyed the experience of being at FDIC. Thanks to Bobby and Diane and everybody at Clarion, and just all of the instructors and students that were there. It was really, really a good week. Took some really great classes as well. Learned some new stuff, and so all good. Hey, we're going to be doing an arrival video today. First, let's get some shout out to the new subscribers. Got quite a few of them here. Aaron Zamzow, Russman, Chadrick, Clayton Bond. Thanks for being here, Clayton. Mr. Bobby 6006, Jeff Kramer, Jim DeLue, Jay Trammell Jr., Ray Serber Jr., and Glendon Chan. Thanks everybody for being on board for Reading Smoke with Phil Jose. Hey, we're always looking at volume, velocity, density, color, and a couple times the last couple weeks I've been doing some arrival videos, just a way to just do something different. And for me at least, what I like to think about is when I worked in Seattle, when we got there, if it was on fire, we'd say we have a working fire, and that let the dispatch know to get us a certain number of additional resources, including the gas company and etc. Right? And so if I have a situation where I know that stuff can get done early, then I might as well get that information out, because that lets the dispatchers get ahead, and so that when we're arriving and then we're going bang, 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 bang in the next, a minute from now or 2 minutes from now, they're not already busy working for us. They've got that handled, and they can pay attention to what's going on the fire scene, right? So it's just about making sure that our partners and the people we're working with, and then everybody we know coming in, right? All the other engines, all the trucks, anybody else, anybody who can't see the horizon maybe knows we got a working fire, right? So we're coming in on this, and it's a little shaky, and that's all right. What I like to look at here is, right, this is a significant fire. We look at the construction. This is something we talked about at the SBSK, right? So is you got two distinct columns here, right? So that's telling me there's fire on two sides of this house. So it's possible, like when we see a big column from the back, right, we can go, okay, that might be just an exterior fire. It could be a significant deck fire or something like that. But when we see this coming out the front as well, two sides of a house, not likely to be an exterior fire. Or if it is, it's something that we can be fairly confident, right? Fairly confident that it has already or will extend to the inside. Remember, if we're pulling in right now, it's still going to be 60 to 90 seconds before we're getting water on this thing, right? And we got to still pull in there, get past, hit the brake, deploy, mask up, etc., right? So maybe 45 seconds, right, if you're really smoking it. But some time is my only point. And this is a significant, if we look at volume, velocity, density, color, right, this right here is a pretty significant volume, and you can see it was lighter not too long ago, right? And so it's growing quickly, right? So if that's an inside fire, it is growing quickly. That means it has access to ventilation, and as you know, once a fire has access to ventilation, the time temperature curve is super steep, right? And as it does that, right, it's going to go through phases where it's fuel controlled and ventilation controlled, and as it goes between those two, every time it goes into ventilation control, you're going to see copious volumes of turbulent, thick black smoke, right? The fuel's being produced, not being consumed because there's not enough oxygen, and so coming out, right? And that's as we're approaching, right? So the more we can facilitate understanding what's going on as we arrive, and then we're not making our assessment, right? But we're preloading mentally. But then when we get there, what we need to do is check is we're checking to verify that what we think is happening is actually what's going on, right? And if there's something different, that's fine too. Not every place has a working fire designation, gets you more resources or whatever, but that's just my history, and I know a lot of departments do that. Okay, now significant, right? This is a significant increase already, just in the 10 or 15 seconds as we're walking up, and we definitely have smoke. I mean, we have turbulent, thick black smoke, copious volumes. I mean, look at how quickly this escalated, right? If we're looking at the edge of this column, look how quickly that escalated in this space. Still about the same from the back, right? But with the wind even a little bit from Charlie to Alpha, we know that this fire is working, and it's got really control of this whole space. Now, we can go back to our building construction. Look at these houses, right? Look at them. A lot of split entries. This one here, that's going to be a split entry, right? That goes right into the middle of the house. We're going to go up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs, right? Living room maybe, but certainly right here. Kitchen, living room, dining room. There might be a bedroom up there, but might not be, right? Oh, bedrooms on this side, sorry. Living room, dining room, kitchen over here, bedrooms off on the right, downstairs, bedrooms, and then access to the garage, right? Sorry about that. I lost track of my own thoughts. But we know that this whole area, right, the kitchen, living, dining, that's a pretty significant piece of this top floor, floor one. And it's all one big open space. In fact, it also is open to the hallway. There's not going to be a door on that hallway, right? It goes down. There's a bathroom down there, and probably at least 2 bedrooms, right? So as we pull in here, we're going to look, and man, that just look at the density here. How much fuel is being produced, and we're going to see that's always going to precede fire. And sure enough, it starts sliding off, right? Starts sliding off. But as we're making our way up here, we can see pretty good right here, right? There's nothing coming out from this ground floor, right? So there's nothing coming out from this edge. And this window here looks clear. Tells me that this is not a basement fire that extended. Might still be an exterior fire that extended inside. Might be a kitchen fire that went out this way and then went out this way. That would be my guess, right? As we had a fire start towards the Charlie side on this floor number 1, I would call that the basement. That's what I would call it. 1-story house with a basement, right? We can rule out the fact that this is a basement fire. Just to go back to that though, wouldn't throw me off if somebody called this a 2-story house, right? Because if you're standing over here, right, on Charlie Delta, it looks like a 2-story house. If you come in this way, 1-story with a basement. But I think because people are going to know the district, either way you call it, and you can talk about this with your companies and make sure that everybody's has a common understanding of what you're going to call this, right? That's the most important thing. People understand. All right, so not a basement fire. We know this fire is not going to extend quickly down either, right? So we have it's going to be, not only is it going to be clear down here, but really super survivable, safe for people to be down there, at least at the time being. Eventually, we would get a problem down there, we get smoke. All right, significant volumes. And then we're seeing along this edge, right? We're always saying get your mind off, get your eye off of this fire. It's telling you everything you need to know about that room. Where we're trying to look at is this other space along here. But we can notice that as the flame, right, let me go back a little bit, as the flame takes off here, it actually consumes a lot of the volume, right? So we've seen that in a lot of videos where since smoke is fuel, right? Smoke is fuel. So as the fire gets going in here, starts to consume that fuel as it has access to oxygen on the outside of the building, it's gonna chew up a lot, but not all of the volume, right? It's so dense that a lot of the volume is still there, even with, look at, I mean, that flame is 15, 20 feet outside of the window, right? And it's going good. But again, we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna look at these other spaces, right? Because that's what we want to do. We want to inventory the attributes. So we want to look around, and we're focusing over here as he makes his way around. And sure enough, we have turbulent, thick black smoke coming out. It's along this edge, right? That whole edge, the bird blocking and all that stuff, right? This is all the same basic construction, but we can also look at these windows, and these to me look like they're smoked up. They look like they're smoked up. Probably that means the doors are open to those rooms, but there's sure a lot of smoke getting in there. Definitely, absolutely 100% still survivable spaces in there. If people are in there right now, they could definitely still be alive. It's not going to be super hot at the floor. Their primary exposure right now is obviously the smoke, right? It's not the heat just yet. I'm not saying it's not a little warm in there. I'm just saying if we can get into if we do something about this and get into these spaces, we can definitely make a difference if there's people in there, right? Now, what we're going to watch is they've already stretched the line. If you didn't see it, you can go back in the video and look, but it goes around this side, and they're going to start fighting fire from that Charlie side. I've had people ask me about this. There are a lot of places where initial entry is made from the back door. That may not be where it is where you are, but I know there's fire departments out there. Their standard methodology is to go through the back door. It works for them, and that's what matters, right? But what we're going to see here is they are around the back door. They're going to start the fire attack, and as soon as they do, we're going to see a really immediate, even though we know they're not in this room, right? We're going to see an immediate impact up here just through the application of water, and boom. I mean, it just doesn't take very long, right? I'm going to go back a little just so we can see that again. They're making the stretch. You can see them back there. There they are. They're getting their hose flaked out just perfect, and we're going to see them as soon as they start the fire attack back there. Instantaneous change up in the front, right? Instantaneous change up in the front. Total volume goes way down. I know the temperatures are already way down in that room, probably 300, 400, 500 degrees, right? That they've dropped the temperature in that room, and therefore temperatures are already going down in these other bedrooms, right? There's more to the video, but what we're going to do now is we're just going to stick with this sort of, for this video, we're going to stick sort of with this size up. Your approach, what you can see from the cab on your way in, what that can tell you, what are you predicting is going to happen, what are you predicting you're going to see when you get there, and then when you get there, does that come into alignment with your prediction? If it does, perfect, right? You got a good understanding of the construction, you understand the neighborhood, you know where the hydrants are, right? There's a lot about this that you know as you're coming in, and each of those can build on, each of the things you know builds on top of what you see based on your experience, right? Again, we get back to that pattern matching, and we're good to go. All right, Tony, thanks for the question. It says, do you think it escalated at the time of fire attack, making an opening on the seaside? No, Tony, I think when they got there, it was like I said, I think it started as a kitchen or dining room somewhere in that zone, right? Then it broke out those windows on Charlie. There's probably a big slider back there, I'm guessing, right? For a lot of people who lived in these houses, been in a lot of them. There's probably a slider off the kitchen, some sort of deck back there, which I've seen the rest of the video, so I know that's true, but just projecting out, that's what I would have thought. I think it's a fire that started in the kitchen, extended out the Charlie side windows first, and then there's so much fuel and energy available, it just works its way across, breaks those windows in front, and that's just as the fire department's arriving here, right, Tony? So as they're pulling in, we see that with this photographer's behind them a little bit, right? So they're already there, they're already stretching, but between the time of their arrival and when they make their stretch, which doesn't have to be very long, if those windows break, we saw that rapid increase in DVDC coming out the front, right? I mean, I pointed out at the time, but we're right in here. I mean, look at just the difference right here and here, and how much just breaking those windows. It means there was already a significant fire working inside the house, right? The only way this can happen based on fire tech, in my experience, would be if they weren't ready, right? If they weren't ready, which I'm not saying that happened here because I haven't seen it, I don't know, right? I would suspect, but with the UL NIST stuff, what we're teaching, and we understand that fire behavior is that we want to control access to ventilation until that line is ready, charged, ready to go, mass on, ready to rock and roll, right? In this case, at the back door. Now, if while you're doing that, right, they're just arriving, if while they're doing that, these windows break, you don't control it, right? You don't always control the ventilation. You can control the temperature, but you can't always control the mix, and that's what we're talking about with ventilation, is right temperature, right mix. So, Tony, thanks for the question on the chat. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate you tuning in every week, and anybody's using these for training, right? I really, really appreciate it, and I really like doing them. Just a heads up, over the next couple of weeks, got some really fun stuff going on with my family. I'm going to try and be here every Thursday. There will be new content here every Thursday, right? It's just a matter of whether I'm here to present live, or if I have a video that just goes live at noon Eastern time every Thursday, right? So SBSK post Wednesdays, YouTube on Thursdays, and here every week. I'm teaching, there's a lot of classes I'm teaching. I've even got a couple more maybe for this year, and actively scheduling in 2022. So if you want to know where I'm teaching, a couple times, 5 times down the Bay Area, California, right? Teaching Monday through Friday, 5 different locations: Sacramento, Palo Alto, Oakland, right? So come and see me down there. Tulare, California, McMinnville, Oregon. I'll be up just outside of Buffalo, right down in Channelview, Texas. And so if you want to come see me, come see me. If you want to book a class, hit me up. We'll get something scheduled. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. For Reading Smoke with Phil Jose. I'm Phil Jose, and I'm out.